November 1977. We in this country must not think of approaching our objectives through conflict and force. We have achieved many things by peaceful means, and there is no reason why we should suddenly abandon that method and take to violence. There is a very special reason why we should not do so. I am quite convinced that if we try to attain our ideals and objectives, however high they may be, by violent methods, we shall delay matters greatly and help the growth of the very evils we are fighting. India is not only a big country but a country with good deal of variety, and if anyone takes to the sword, he will inevitably be faced with the sword of someone else. This clash between swords will degenerate into fruitless violence, and in the process, the limited energies of the nation will be dissipated or, at any rate, greatly undermined. Now, the method of peaceful progress is ultimately the method of democratic process. Keeping in mind the ultimate aim of democratic thought, it is not enough that we should simply give our words and leave everything else to look after itself. The ultimate aim is economic democracy. The ultimate aim is to put an end to the difference between the rich and poor, between the people who have opportunities and those who have very few or none. Every obstacle in the way of that aim must be removed, whether it is in a friendly or by law. Nothing should be allowed to come between you and the achievement of that social objective. A plan of this type does not merely mean establishing a number of factories or increasing production in some instances. That, of course, is necessary, but something with a deeper significance, something that aims at the gradual development of a particular structure of society has to be achieved. Of course, you and I cannot lay down what the next generation must do, nor can we predict what the next generation will be like. In these days of rapid technological advance, no man knows what the world will be like in the future because India is technologically backward. We sometimes discuss our big problems in rather static way, forgetting that the very ground under our feet is always changing and maybe slipping away. Unless we change with it, we may stumble or be left behind. The fact that technological advance has moved at an enormous pace since the Industrial Revolution is well known. Even so, we are not emotionally aware of what is happening from day to day. It may well be that in the course of the next 10 or 20 years, this technological advance might change the whole aspect of the world, and that will naturally have a tremendous effect on the life of all human beings. It will be their thinking, their economic structure, their social structure, and ultimately their political structure also. Anything may happen. We cannot bind the future. We can only deal with facts as they are. I mention these broad factors because I feel that our minds must have that dynamic quality, that quality of vision, that revolutionary quality which even our experts lack, not to speak of the average layman. For instance, our economists and our planners have become very static in their approach. We talk of revolutions, believing all the time that a revolution is a process in which you can break one another's heads. Good or bad, a revolution is something that changes the political structure of society. Letter dated 5th May 1972 from the Executive Engineer, Public Works Department, Madras, to all heads of departments in the city. Sir, the quarters at Government Estate Madras are allotted according to seniority of applications received and registered in this house books. For the purpose of registration, the quarters are divided into four groups. The government employees are classified into four groups in accordance with their pay and are allotted the quarters to which they are entitled. Consequent on the revision of scales of pay, the government have been addressed for orders for refixing the grades for the various types of quarters and their orders are awaited. Meanwhile, allotment of quarters is made on the old scale of pay prior or revision to pay, namely as on 1st October 1970 on the groups mentioned above. Of late, it is noticed that most of the applicants who have registered their names have not communicated the periodical changes in their pay designation, etc. Applicants should therefore furnish full particulars to this office promptly to ensure that allotment of quarters is made in conformity with seniority of registration of application. I request you to intimate such of those persons working under you who have registered their names for allotment of quarters to furnish to this office information regarding their present pay on the revised scale and the year of registration to enable this office to take necessary action. Yours faithfully.